done it again. He's done it again, King Carlo, and it's happened again to Pep Guardiola in the Champions League. Another Champions League disaster. And this one, well, extraordinary. Almost 90 minutes had elapsed. They were heading for the final to face Liverpool in Paris on May 28th. Now look at them, devastated. There will be inquests perhaps about the timekeeping of the referee in that extra time. There wasn't a hell of a lot of football played in that second period. Inquests about a lot of things about that Manchester City performance and where it all went wrong. But for Real Madrid, Brian Kerr, just pure joy and celebration.
Yeah, it was a dramatic turnaround. It looked like Manchester City had it all under control coming into the last few minutes of the game. The manager, Pep Guardiola, put on Fernandinho in the middle of the field to stifle the middle even further with Gundogan and Rodri in there in a 4-3-3, taking De Bruyne off, and then Mahrez was off the pitch as well. But they still had enough quality on the pitch to get a goal. I think the extra time was totally disrupted by Real Madrid messing and well, whether Militao may have had an injury, but I cannot understand how the referee, Mr. Assetto, the Italian, he played 3 minutes injury time, and he didn't even play 3 minutes. He played 2 minutes 50 seconds. For me, there was at least 6 minutes injury time in the second half. He played 6 minutes in the second half of the game, but the game was more disrupted in the second half extra time. But, you know, Manchester City conceded 3 goals. I said before the match I thought City would score, and I thought that would be enough. It wasn't enough. Their own deficiencies caught them out. And I thought the Walker thing proved vital because Cancelo didn't do as well in the right-back position. And certainly Zinchenko didn't do so well. That caused them problems. But in fairness to Ancelotti, he put Rodrigo on. I said he would. He got great return from him. He scored 2 goals the weekend against Espanyol. The first 2 goals of the match, 1-4-0 in good form. There he is.
He was the hero,
He got
wasn't
the two crucial goals in the match up until Benzema's penalty.
Another Champions League disappointment for Pep Guardiola. Another massive result for Carlo Ancelotti. Amazing to think a year ago he was steering Everton to 10th in the Premier League. Now look at him. Back where he feels probably he belongs. Absolutely loving it. Spanish League champion at the weekend, taking Real to a Champions League final this evening. Damien, I mean, look at these celebrations, are incredible. It's almost like they've won it. In the sense that almost like it feels like a tournament victory for them.
I think you can't underestimate the feeling that you get when you're 2 goals down approaching injury time and you drag it back to get it into extra time and then you go and win it in extra time. They deserve this. They really do. The emotions that they must be feeling. We can pick the bones out of Manchester City all we want. I don't think Pep did anything wrong tonight. All the substitutions he made were logical substitutions. Listen, they're 2 goals up. They're in charge of a game. He wants to see it out. If he doesn't make those substitutions and this happens, he gets lambasted for that. I think by the book, everything he done for me was correct. All the substitutions. He will get absolutely criticised for it. But they're not the first victims of this Real Madrid team. PSG fell foul of it. Chelsea fell foul of it, and now Manchester City. I felt that Manchester City were in a better place than what Chelsea were and what PSG were. PSG were obviously not the formidable side that everyone thought they were, and Chelsea obviously had their own issues the second half of the season. But I felt, that's why I did the piece before on Atletico Madrid, that this Manchester City team were in a position to deal with what Real Madrid had to throw at them. But unfortunately, you just can't do anything about it. You look at even the 2 goals that were scored, nobody done anything wrong. I mean, Rodrigo somehow gets his head on a flick on from a player, his own player, that's about 3 yards in front of him. I think he's got up and he's flicking on the ball that's actually coming in, but it gets flicked onto his head. It's amazing. You don't
agree with that,
Brian? I'm not so
sure
anyone didn't do anything wrong on the goals. I mean, the centre of the box, maybe not, but allowing the cross in.
But Grealish is touch tight with him and he whips it round him.
Grealish backed off and allowed him play in the cross.
I don't think he did back off.
Well, he didn't go and block the cross. It's only 25 yards out. Well, he's not a good enough defender.
Have we got that goal lined up?
Cancelo with the far post is very loose, and Benzema, he doesn't do anything to affect Benzema.
Let's look at the 2 Rodrigo goals then. And Give it the...
Well, like on the first one, you know, Cancelo has to
I'll tell you the other change he should have made. He should have brought Sterling on earlier for Foden. I know Foden, the extra time he had the header, but Sterling has been a consistently important player for them. And
Here's the two Real goals.
there's Grealish. You tell him he was touched high.
No.
Grealish backed off and allowed him to play. Look at Cancelo.
I'm talking about the second goal.
That's what I'm talking about.
Cancelo's taking. Hang on a second. Cancelo's taking the position inside because there's three.
This is the first goal.
So Cancelo's taking the position inside because there's three Real Madrid players. He drops a touch early, but the ball is all the way out the back stick and it gets held back across goal. It's a good goal. Of course, you can pick the bones over it and say Man City in an ideal world would have done different things, but there was no catastrophic collapse. It was just a well-worked goal from Real Madrid's point of view. And Man City aren't the first team to fall foul of it.
Let's see the second one then.
And in the second one, if you watch Jack Grealish here as it comes out, he gets himself in a good position. Danny Carvajal uses, when it gets worked back to Carvajal here, spins it round him. I mean, Jack Grealish is working hard. He's just put in an unbelievable ball.
The first one I was talking about.
I'm talking about the second one. But he flicks it. He flicks it onto Rodrigo's head, the player in front. I mean, look, Rodrigo's probably not expecting the flick, but it's incredible the way he flicks it onto his head, look. And he still gets a flush connection on it. Look, it's all about Real Madrid. Honestly, we could pick the ball.
Okay, last
City.
one on City then. When you take off players like De Bruyne, you know, and Mahrez, and you protect a lead, and I know you say, okay, it's a perfectly logical thing to do, but are you playing with, you know, are you making yourself a hostage to fortune for something like that to happen?
I don't think so, Tom, because when he made the substitutions, the game was dying out. We were sitting here saying, and I said to you, I think about 88 minutes, it's been an accomplished performance in City. They've took the sting out of the game, they controlled it, they were in control of their emotions, everything was
But they
going
didn't control
fine.
from the 80s.
It's two incredible finishes. I'd be more inclined to talk about Real Madrid than Manchester City. I mean, Real Madrid have just done this. It's very, very hard to stop.
Agree with that, Brian?
But you have to look at it in depth and say it's happening over years that they got done. I mean, they got done again at the end, where I agree that looked like they were in total control. But if you go down to why they didn't finish it off, well, should Grealish have scored either of them? He came as close as he could, I suppose, to scoring, but he didn't score to get the finishing goal. I think he didn't do well on the first goal there, and the first goal changed the momentum of the game. It gave the 6 minutes on the clock, the injury time. It gave Real Madrid, the fans, the team, the whole momentum, the flow of the game. And Man City started to look like some of them were weak. I thought Zinchenko started to look weak, and his mettle was tested, and we saw him commit a stupid foul as the game went on. I thought the fact that Sterling come on, I thought it was a bit late for him to make any difference, and then he got involved. He was a bit unlucky as well, but he also had the foul, and he looked like he was upset at the fact that he didn't get on earlier or didn't get a go in the match. So some of them lacked the steel that was required to get it over the line. The whole balance of the team, without that obvious centre forward, go back to that, would have been better with a real centre forward in this game as the game went on. Foden playing in that position as a false nine didn't help them as the match went on to wrap it up, I'd say. But then, Real Madrid it's sensation what they did, turning it around the PSG when they looked dead at 2-0 in the second half, 2 down, and they got 3 goals. Then the Chelsea one, where they had to pull her out, with Chelsea have scored 3 goals over there. But they just have that resilience and belief, I'd say, and the crowd kind of have the bit of belief in them. The player transfers to the players, and then they have the quality to come up with it. And Rodrigo coming into the game tonight made a big difference.
Brian's right. Like, you have to take the Real thing over the course of this knockout stage campaign. Like, I can't remember any sort of series of results and turning things around. And it just must be an incredible sense of belief that they're never done, that they're never beaten. That's in there.
It's unbelievable. And I think, Brian, you said before that Liverpool would prefer to Real Madrid, and I kind of thought to myself, I'm not really sure. I think Liverpool will be petrified playing this Real Madrid team, because even in the 89th minute, if they're leading the game, this team are never dead. Once you can PSG, you can go, it happens. Twice, you're thinking, that's incredible. 3 times. I mean, you know, I think Liverpool will be more petrified playing Real Madrid than they would have been Manchester City. After tonight now, I just think that even if Liverpool are 2-0 up in injury time, it's clearly not dead. It sets up for an incredible final.
There was one report of one of the Chelsea game that likened them to Glenn Close in the bath and Fatal Attraction. You know, when she sits she's not dead.
I take it back to the first leg, and Manchester City having to put Fernandinho into the right back position when Stones got hurt, and then they bring him on the match today relatively early in the second half of the game. And Fernandinho going to right back cost them. To me, it cost a goal. Now Damien did the piece of analysis where Laporte should have come across and cut out. Brilliant goal. And they stifled Vinicius tonight by having Walker back to play. But as I said after the first match, I thought it showed a lack of real depth in Manchester City's squad, and we think that they have the best squad, when Fernandinho went to right back and didn't do the job. And ultimately, that kept the game tight. You know, it was 4-2, then they get a penalty, it's 3-2, and then when it's at 4-2, they get the penalty, and it's 4-3. And, you know, the two penalties proved crucial then in the match. The first was the handball one in the first match. It was the same player tonight, wasn't it? Laporte.
No, it was Diaz.
Was Diaz? Diaz was the handball, was it?
No, Laporte was the handball.
Oh,
Diaz,
Diaz tonight. Yeah. So those two moments, those two penalties proved to be crucial incidents in the two matches. And do you blame him? It was a mistimed tackle. So there has to be some blame attached to that. Benzema.
But I mean,
initially, I think we both felt, I thought the defender got there first, got the first when we saw it in tight. Referee was right.
Real Madrid caused this type of carnage really in the games, because they did it to PSG. Do you remember they scored and then they scored 10 seconds from the kickoff? They almost scored 2 seconds from the restart of the second half. I mean, listen, Diaz does not need to go in like that. He's a split second late, but it's a correct decision. And
but as you said, as Brian said, that first Rodrigo goal just was like a power surge. Yeah. Into that Real team, because we were watching the last half hour of that game and thought, crowd have gone quiet, City in control.
But that's the team.
This all leads to this, doesn't it?
The team just have that in them. They've done it against PSG with the 2 quick-fire goals. They did it against Chelsea with quick-fire goals to keep the tie. It was incredible, both those games. And we've done it again tonight.
Can we look at City fans will look back. I don't think, well, they probably won't want to look back at, we'll see the Mahrez goal, but also the chances that the 2 Grealish chances. One was a great save, like the studs literally of Courtois, and then Mendy clearing it off. Yeah, here's the goal first.
This is a great goal. Gundogan finds Bernardo Silva, who by the way I thought was outstanding tonight. He was just the top performer for Manchester City on the pitch, pulling strings. Initially I thought he was trying to get this to Jesus and he got it wrong because Mahrez wasn't in shot, and still even this little pass here just takes out all the Real Madrid midfield, and Silva. Jesus makes that diagonal run, and I think he's trying to find him, but luckily Mahrez comes right into shot. An incredible finish. I mean, he just hits that as pure as anything, right into the top corner, and that puts Manchester City in the driving seat, puts them 2 goals up. And then Jack Grealish gets in with chances, and again, you can't attach blame to Jack Grealish here. He does everything right. Yeah. Runs Militao, beats the keeper. You've got to credit the defender. That's what they're there for, to do things like that. And the second one, the exact same, drives into the box, creates an opening for himself brilliantly here with the drag back, and we think he's missed that. And on the replay from behind the goal,
and Brian, if one of those goes in, he's a genius for bringing him on. Isn't that football, isn't it?
That's right. But look, you expect to get something from a fella that he spent 100 million on, that he's going to produce something to wrap her up, but it didn't quite. But maybe Courtois was man of the match tonight. Yeah. So he made a lot of good saves, and that one was absolutely one of the most crucial moments of the match, because it's dead and it's over at that stage. That has gone in, but it wasn't, and there was still a bit of time for them to rescue it. That was I think 87 minutes, and then we had
extraordinary, wasn't it? It's been a pleasure, chaps. It's been a brilliant Champions League season. I know. Let's go have a lie down now. Thanks to Damien and Brian. It was another night for the dark side for Pep Guardiola and his Galaxy of Stars. But the old Jedi Master Carlo Ancelotti and Real are through to another Champions League final where they will face Liverpool. May the 4th be with you.